Hey, what's up guys, Tanley here bringing you guys another Tower of Fantasy video. Today, this is just a bit of a rant that I had on my Twitch stream today at twitch.tv/Tanleer. I was just talking about how I felt about the game and how it's going to do globally, even when it comes to both our community and the Genshin Impact community coming together. I kind of start off by talking about the Honkai sword incident and seeing where we go from there and how both the Western and Eastern community are a bit different. But if you guys enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I don't want to take any more of your time, and enjoy. Yeah, I mean, Ari, the thing with that incident is that, like, I think even on the case that incident comes to, like, the global community, the truth of it is that, like, global reviewers, or at least English-speaking reviewers are a lot nicer, I think. The incident Ari's referencing is one where, while in production for Meryl's promotional video, they used the sword from Honkai in the trailer, right? So they pretty much took an asset from Honkai, which was a sword, and used it in the game, or not in the game, in a promotional video for the game, right? Hada said that because they outsourced the video, or because they outsourced the production of the video to another studio, that this sword was left in during production and they forgot to take it out because it was a placeholder, right? So it's like, okay, whatever. It doesn't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things because it doesn't actually affect the game because the actual game itself has no stolen assets. It's really dumb for people to argue about this. But I think even in general, Western audiences are a little nicer about reviewing games. Like, the Chinese community in terms of, like, gaming, from what I've seen, they just go crazy about, like, anything in terms of, like, their games. So, like, I think the current consensus we're getting isn't indicative of the response we're going to get when the game goes global. Because if I even look at it, like, on Twitch, for example, people are feeling positively about the game. Even the Genshin players who played the game are feeling positive about it. Fob Masters played it. He said it's been pretty good for him so far. So, I mean, I have a feeling that when the game goes global, I mean, the game's just gonna be fine. I have a pretty strong feeling that the game will just have its own little separate community. It may not be as big as Genshin. I don't think anyone's expecting it to be as big as Genshin. I only say the Genshin killer because it's literally just clickbait for my videos for people to click on it, but I don't actually think it's going to kill Genshin. It's in my mind, again, I've always said this, it's just going to be the same way Dota 2 and League of Legends exist, where it's like both games exist. One is more popular than the other, but both games have a pretty strong community. They do their own things. They talk about each other, but they're not toxic with each other. They just exist. I want to live in a world where Genshin players are not, like, omega toxic to the Tower Fantasy players. Tower Fantasy players, the only reason Tower Fantasy players talk about Genshin players is because they just fear the idea of them constantly going, oh my god, this game is just such a clone of our game. It's so bad. Remember about the Honkai incident? Because, like, I know some, like, weird, pasty Genshin fan is going to be like, oh, but you guys stole a sword in a it's a promotional video. Who cares? It's a promotional video for an asset in a part of in something that is not playable, for something that was meant as a placeholder that was immediately removed and replaced. It doesn't matter. I remember there was a Genshin Breath of the Wild. Yeah, exactly. It's like Genshin Genshin is not immune to the copying criticism when it was literally under fire for the exact same thing, right? So, and most Genshin fans, I think, are aware of that. I think most Genshin fans are normal people who are like, yeah, we have our mistakes. Y'all got your mistakes, but we can both play each other's games and hang out, and it's fine. And we might even play both games. But I just want everyone to be just, like, chilling. I don't want a weird console war type division where everyone's just like, oh, my game better. Oh, my game better. It's like, who cares? Like, literally, who cares? Like, the fact that I'm seeing such a global outreach from players, we have players, Spanish-speaking players, Portuguese-speaking players, Russian-speaking players, Chinese-speaking players, English-speaking players. We have so many different language, like, players playing the game, streaming it on Twitch, making content of the game, that I know that, because, like, currently as things stand, this game is in such a niche spot, because, like, I think about it, and it's like, really no one knows about this game. Like, as a collective of the gaming sphere, hardcore Genshin fans, like, a very small subset of them know about this game, but, like, a lot of people, the majority of the world, does not know about this game. So when that does happen, I'm interested in seeing what happens, and I think the response will be a little more positive than we think. I think first impression will be, oh my god, Genshin clone, and then when people get to play it, they'll be like, it kind of plays like Genshin, but it's kind of different, and I don't know. I think there are differences to be lauded for in this game, and not immediately thrown away. Inspiration is not a clone. There's very much difference. Yes, exactly. And I agree with that. I agree with that, Yuki. There is a very strong difference between inspiration and plagiarism, and a lot of, I'm going to say, the passionate Genshin fans don't understand the difference. And because, again, like, Tower of Fantasy, like, a year ago, like, a year to date, right? Early 2021 looked, or was it late 2020, looked wildly different from this. Models were different, UI was different, it looked completely different. And then when Genshin came out, it was like, oh wait, this can kind of be the standard of what we want to make, right? And they kind of pivoted their focus. So it's not like it's not like they went about this like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't inspire it. No, like, the game is clearly inspired by Genshin and inspired off of its success, but it's not trying to, like, clone it, because if they were trying to clone it one for one, they wouldn't have actively tried to add stuff to the formula, right? If they just wanted to clone Genshin one for one and make it sci-fi, they would have just made sci-fi Genshin. But it's not. The games are different. So again, it's like, I get that people want their game to win, but sometimes it's like, just let people do their thing. And I think when people get their hands on the game, I think, really, I have a very strong feeling that the global community, after a little bit of time with the game, will kind of start to feel the game out a little more. Again, my only gripe with the game right now is the fact that you have to wait a whole day to do story quests, because that's the only thing I don't like so far, is that, like, you can't just, like, blaze through quests until level cap. You can only play one quest a day, and possibly this just might be a Chinese regulation thing, right? Because China has a lot of game regulations, and the resin system is a huge, like, a part or a product of that, right? Of it being like an immersion blocker, where you have to be like, okay, well, you have to do something else now. I hope in global, I really do, that this is removed, because I think it'll be better. If you can just play until level cap for the day, I think that's awesome. Daily level caps, I think, are perfectly fine, because I think it encourages players to not, like, reach level 90 so quickly, and it lets everyone else catch up. I think daily level caps are fine, and it kind of goes up over time. But this wait a day kind of thing, I'm not really too into. You're just gonna have to realize both games are good and different. Both games, they look good, they play good, they're different.